So I'm here with Rosie, who is a student, or was a student, graduated in 2018 with her master's degree in theology. Is that correct?
Bible and theology.
Bible and theology. And she's been in school for, what, it was 6 years?
Yes.
Started in 2012, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And during that time, she went from a brick and mortar traditional legacy model school setting where they had small classrooms, maybe 5-10 people in the class.
Right, yes.
And then to an online setting, and then into a synchronous online setting. And during that time, she went through applying for disability and having being awarded disability by the court, and completed her degree in December of 2018. Is that right?
18.
18, yeah. So I'm going to ask Rosie some questions about that process. She started using mobile technology for one class. She was in a setting which it was difficult to navigate without using mobile technology. Could you share with us about that, the situation in Florida?
Sure. I had to go to my niece's wedding, and I had to travel on a day that I had a class that I couldn't miss. And because it was a synchronous setting, when it came time for the class, I just found a place, which turned out to be a Starbucks, that had Wi-Fi, got myself a cup of coffee and signed into the class, sat in the corner and took the class. I could see the professor and the other students, and they could see me. And after the hour was up, I just went on my way down the road.
And that was similar in quality to the experience you had when you would go home and work off of your PC or laptop?
Oh, it was exactly the same, except I was traveling.
Okay. And it allowed for that. Now, you mentioned that you didn't think mobile technology or mobile learning would be able to completely replace using a PC or using a laptop, and that was because of...
I think it's just the devices are so small, and at some point you're going to need to read articles or read excerpts from a book. You're going to need to look at other videos, and you want the comfort of a larger screen as opposed to our smartphones. But for people that are on the move, having the ability to take the class in the palm of your hand is really nice. But you still need to consider that you're going to need a PC or a laptop to complete the rest of the coursework.
I would imagine that would be particularly the case in writing a paper and trying to place your footnotes in the paper, trying to go through all those processes. It would be easier for formatting particular.
Right. And I've even used my phone to dictate when we had to do online posts every week where we would read other students' posts and we'd had to interact. I would use my smartphone to dictate my response for that. But when it got to the heavier assignments where you had to be more interactive with your own computer, you couldn't do that on a smartphone.
Now, some people have mentioned recently, I think 2016, 2018, that certain circumstances require a more formalized approach to communication, where you're able to control the output of what you're communicating with a level of precision that is not informal but formal. And that for that, the mobile environment is not conducive to highly formalized structures of communication. For instance, you know, some people, I guess, can write and include all the syntax, all the sentence structures just by speaking. But for me, for example, I have to go back sometimes 2 or 3 times over a paragraph to tweak it, to get it so that it functions properly, because my intonation is not being included as it would be in a more informal environment, or in a video environment where my
Right.
intonation can be included in the communication.
Right. And two, the issue with when you're in a fast environment, you're not thinking at the same level as when you're sitting in front of something you just read that you've thought through, because you're distracted by the society around you.
Right.
So your level of input is going to be different than if you're sitting at home in your office and you've just finished a book or a post or an article. Your cognitive ability to interact is a little bit different.
Right. Right. You're not right. You're focused to the people that are around about you and the flow of conversation,
Right.
as necessarily to the formation of your own ideas.
Yeah, and you know, some people may be obtrusive in that they really don't care what others hear, but other people would be a little bit more laid back or hesitant
Right.
to speak and interact with a smartphone in an assignment than somebody, say, if you were sitting at home and there's nobody around you listening. So that your environment makes a difference as to what device you're going to use.
Right.